Check, check, check. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Today's Monday, May 13th. I hope you guys had a great weekend. And today's a milestone in my podcast. I hit finally today is episode 30. So I'm excited about that. And I have a special guest today for my 30th episode. Will be Liz Velasquez. That's right. Head of Title Operations, PCT. Liz Velasquez will be joining me via telephone. And we're just going to talk about a lot of stuff, see what's going on, what the latest is going on here at Title, the Pacific Coast Title Company here. There's a lot going on. But the one thing that I always I talk to her about, for those of you who know, she's my wife. But she's don't get it twisted, because we don't there's no special attention that I get. No, I'm just kidding. So what we are going to talk about today is like some of the type of transactions that we see here, and just kind of give you guys a heads up on what's going on, what we see. Hopefully that'll transcend onto what you guys are doing and how you guys are putting your marketing plans together, what you guys should be focusing on. Over the last couple weeks, a couple of the podcasts, the main thing is trying to target prospects who need to list, who need to sell. A lot of those, we'll talk about it. I'm going to get her on the phone. If you can just bear with me a second here. So this is live. This is a live podcast that I'm shooting every Monday. Not every Monday. Occasionally I'll go dark. Sometimes things will conflict, but for the most part, it would be Mondays at 11 a.m. Live streaming podcast here, Title Talk with Corey, but it's also available, on Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere that you get your podcasts. So please jump on with us. I encourage you to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get Liz on the phone right now. We're going to call in direct. This is to the PCT headquarters in Glendale. Hello?
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yeah. We're live right now. So I got Liz Velasquez, PCT Title Operations Manager. Those of you know we're actually married, but I don't, we don't really talk about
sound
that.
like it's a bad thing.
Oh, it's a great thing. I better say that. No, so we don't really have like a set agenda, what we're going to talk about. But I was thinking about, sharing some things up on the website, and maybe you can kind of there's a couple of things that I want to go over. But one of the things that we had talked about over the last couple of weeks was what type of transaction that we're seeing, that we see closing. I've been out there telling agents, and my specialty, I focus with my clients is farming, pulling data, really just trying to help you guys target how to help you identify what type of data is in your farm territories. If you have a farm territory, if you don't, then we have to help you get that. And then what type of data is within that farm, sort of micro leverage the area and see who has the highest propensity to list and sell next in the area. And lately a lot of that is going to be, divorces that are filed, right? And I can show you how to get that right into the, right in the title toolbox application, the PCT title toolbox. But I have Liz on the phone. So, I want to see, I wanted to talk to you about what type of transactions that we're seeing. I'm going to put you, are you on with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So what are we seeing? Like what type of stuff are we seeing? Close, opening and closing.
Yeah, well, obviously at the moment there's a lot of challenges with the market, challenges with people being afraid to buy, the interest rates, challenges with just business in general, not being super busy. So, with that said, I think you get a lot of transactions where people are trying to be creative. They're trying to do alternative financing. They're trying to do anything. They throw at things at the wall, spaghetti at the wall, like people say, and see what
Yeah.
sticks, and try to work things out to get a deal to close. So with that said, we get a lot of, again, like I said, creative financing, creative. People get very creative to try to make a deal close, and so the market is a little slower, and in some cases, because of everything that's going on, all of the things that I just mentioned, we have an added thing that goes into the mix, which is fraud. So
Yeah.
so we're seeing a lot of that. So I guess the gist of it is majority of what's happening right now requires time, whether it's a legitimate transaction or not. They're complicated things. They're family transfers, they're trust sales, they're probate sales, like you said, divorce sales.
Yeah.
So all of those things require, on the title end of it, on the inside of our unit, is review. So we have to review a lot of legal documents. There's a lot of legalities to every transaction right now, and that requires time. So that's I guess the key is to, when you've got a transaction like that where you're trying to be creative, or it's a probate, or it's a trust, or whatever the case may be, is always to try to get the documentation into title for review and get a complete story of what's happening, so that we know what we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah. In addition to that is, you as the realtor want to make sure that you ask all the right questions as well. You want to make sure that you're dealing with the right seller, with the right person that even has the authority to sell that property.
Right. Now, what would I mean, how do they determine that? Because I've heard of cases where you have an agent, or not necessarily an agent, but a seller contact escrow directly or something, and they're trying to open a deal where they've never even met in person or anything like that. And how do you qualify someone as actually being the seller, and not creating some kind of fraud, or you know um
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
it's
it's just
it's a good
ID.
idea. Yeah, it's always a good idea, number one, to reach out to the specialist. So the specialist being title. So Pacific Coast Title, they can either reach out to their title rep, or they can reach out to me, or they can reach out to their title officer and request a review of the property. So,
Hmm.
one of the things, and that's a good point that you just brought up, but one of the things that I always tell people, how can you be sure? You can never be 100% sure,
Right.
but one, you want to meet the person in person. You don't want to deal with somebody that's on the phone, and the deal just sounds way too good to be true, because
Yeah.
most of the time, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yeah. I
Um,
want to jump in real quick and
yeah,
just and reiterate that. Don't ever, and I know right now, like, as sometimes it's harder to pick up find those listings, but if you get somebody give you a call and says they want to sell their property, well, one right there, I mean, that's just, most
it's
agents
a
are not
red
just
flag.
getting calls. Yeah, it's already a red flag just by the fact that they called you out of the blue and don't know who you are, right? That's already something to kind of raise your eyebrow about. But then when someone agrees to give you a listing and they don't even meet you, really, really, really second guess that, and do your due diligence, and like you said, send it in for a
Ask
review, right?
ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask
Yeah.
questions. Yeah, yeah. How did they find you? Why are they calling you? Where did they get your information?
Yeah. Um, are we seeing a lot of closings? I mean, from what I had talked to, I had the great Jorge Mesa on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and we talked about that. We talked about a lot of sales coming out of trusts, and he said I forgot the term that he used. I think he said the golden. I don't know what it was. Basically, he was saying a lot of people who are selling are in their senior years right now. Oh, I think he said the white. I don't know. Never mind. But
Yeah.
he's talking about older empty nester people who are selling of that age. I'm out there pushing for my clients to go after what I call aged absentee owners, people holding multiple properties 20, 30 years. I mean, are we seeing a lot of transaction close and even open and close where their properties are in trusts?
Yes, there are a lot actually, and most of them are pretty basic. Of course, with the experience that we all have on the inside here, any trust can seem basic to an agent, not necessarily. So that's the reason I say, definitely worth asking questions and asking title to help with the resources that you need to review those things. If you're dealing, just to kind of touch a little bit on trust, if if you're talking to somebody that you're taking a listing from and they tell you my property's in a trust, then the first question you want to ask is, are the people listed on the trust, are they still alive? Are they still acting as trustees of the trust? If the answer is yes, then you won't need to request a copy of the trust for review. If they tell you no, it was my aunt's property or my grandmother's property and she had it in a trust and they listed me as the successor trustee and now I want to list and sell the property, then for sure 100% at that point you're going to need a copy of the trust. So, there's additional review, like I said previously, always needed when you're dealing with a successor trustee. So it's not complicated. It's really not, but we do need a complete copy. And I should clarify, we need a complete copy of the trust and any amendments, because oftentimes people do amendments to their original trust and they might change who the successor trustee is. They might change who the beneficiary is. So we would require a copy of the trust and any amendments for review, so that we can make a determination of who the successor trustee is on behalf of that trust. In some scenarios, we've got the people are still alive, the trustee is still alive, but is now maybe elderly and maybe suffering from dementia. Maybe they're in a senior home and they're no longer able to act. Then we still need a complete copy of the trust, because we need to we need to review the trust and make a determination if the trust says, in order to determine somebody unable to act, we're going to need 2 doctor notes, or you need to provide 2 doctor notes to establish that that person can no longer act and that the successor trustee can now step in and execute. So there's a lot of different, scenarios. Each one of them is different.
Yeah.
But again, the main objective here is to teach you all that you've got to ask questions, number one. And then number two, what type of requirements, what type of things to request for. We don't expect you, the agent, to review the trust and make the determination yourself, but we want you to help us get the documentation needed for review. Same thing with a probate scenario. If you're dealing with a probate scenario, there's a list of items that we have that we're going to need in order to close that transaction. So we need to kind of know up front, this is going to be a probate, so that we can give everybody a laundry list of what's going to be required when we're dealing with a probate.
Now, I have a question. So when it comes to probate, or not probate, but when it comes to a trust, and you've got a successor trustee, and like you said, the successor trustee is now incapacitated, and then is there usually a backup? And what happens if there's no backup?
Yeah.
Does it go to probate or?
Question. No, that's a very good question. We've had this come up numerous times. So 9 out of 10 times people list a successor trustee, and then they'll list a secondary successor trustee in the event that the successor trustee themselves is unable or unwilling to execute. So
Yeah.
so let's say for argument's sake that the alternate is also not able to execute or act or won't, they would need to go to court.
Mm.
So they being the beneficiaries, the family members, whoever it is, they would need to go to court, and the court will establish themselves based on review of everything. They will name somebody as the successor trustee on behalf of the trust.
Ah, okay. And that
Yeah,
could
and when
is
that
that usually done
happens,
pretty quickly, or does that take several
it
weeks?
takes a little
Depends.
bit, but it's fairly quickly because they do have, when there's documentation involved with a trust, then
Mm.
it's easier for them to kind of establish, who the heirs are or anything like that. Um, but yeah, the court will issue an order. It's called an order of succession trustee of a trust. And that order gets recorded by title so that we can establish that the person that is going to be executing the future documents is allowed to do so.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, you are seeing a lot of properties that open and close that are in trust. You're obviously seeing cases where, there's a lot of divorces that are coming through. And I'm just trying to give people an idea of what, and when I say people, I mean real estate agents out there who are prospecting, trying to find their next deal, trying to find their next sale.
Yeah.
We're not really seeing kind of the traditional regular sale transactions.
And
Uh,
that's exactly what I was going to jump in and tell you is
yeah.
that you're asking, what are we seeing? What are we seeing? And I compare notes with, I know a lot of people in this industry. I've been in the business almost 40 years. And so I reach out to my friends and my buddies at other title companies and kind of pick their brain on what they're seeing as well. And what we are all in agreement with is that we're not seeing, like you said, the traditional standard real estate transaction. Those don't exist at the moment. And so this is why it's so critical for them to reach out to you or their title rep and find a niche, and the niche that we are seeing a lot of right now is a lot of investor business. So we're seeing a lot of all cash purchases where people are not really dealing with lenders. We're seeing, like you said, people that have been holding for a long time. Those things are never going to go away. So
Right.
those are the things that the agents should really focus on. The need to sell niche, which is, people that have been holding for a long time. Most of the time, they do put their property in trust because they're savvy enough to know that they have to protect their asset. And then also, obviously, there's always going to be death. And so affidavits of death is definitely a way to know a potential, hot lead for a potential listing.
Mm-hmm.
And divorces, those things are always they're not gonna slow down. They're never going to stop. And so those are the things that people should be farming, that people should be looking for potential listings. Because if you're trying to go the regular route, it's going to be really difficult right now. There's not a lot of normal standard transactions.
Yeah, I mean, it's unless somebody's moving out of town, and or moving out of
Relocating,
state
yeah,
or something,
relocating.
relocating. And as far as I know, I mean, I don't think there's really a platform for targeting that type of data. Obviously,
Not that I'm
but
aware of. Yeah.
so you'd have to go with some of the other stuff, like like you said, the divorces, affidavits of death.
Things that are of record,
Right.
exactly. Things that you can
Yeah.
actually search out.
So now a lot of that stuff, some of the stuff like the divorces and all that stuff, that's considered a premium lead through Pacific Coast Title Company's Title Toolbox, the PCT Title Toolbox. So reach out to me. I'm taking appointments weekly. 626-392-7993. Reach me by email, open@CoreyTitleRep.com. But also check out the website, www.CoreyTitleRep.com. You can book an appointment with me direct, or just get a hold of me. And like I said, every week, 11 a.m., I'm gonna have different guests up here. But Liz, so today is actually, I just realized it this morning that today's is my 30th anniversary on not anniversary,
Oh
but my
wow.
30th. Yeah, so I finally
Awesome.
hit 30 on the podcast. It's hard,
Very nice.
It's so you seem it's hard running a podcast. You got to keep fresh
No
content
need.
up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today's my 30th, and that's why I'm wearing white today. No, I'm just kidding. No, man.
What does that
Yeah.
have to
I
do with
changed my look.
anything?
I changed the little the way the screen looks, and
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
No, but
But
that's exciting. Yeah, that's exciting.
yeah,
30, it's not easy. I know
no,
most people that are watching or will be watching later don't realize, unless you've had guests, they realize how complicated it is and how difficult it is to put it together. So that's amazing. That's great.
yeah. Well, I'm a one man band, so it's even harder,
Yep.
and that's why I want to do it live. I think it's easier just to kind of get it up here and just kind of do it as a live stream, and then put it
You
out.
know what I just noticed
Yeah.
on your stream?
Huh.
It shows episode 29.
Oh, it does, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So just something to
yeah.
notate.
I think I just did that by accident.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Well, it's episode 30 officially.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But going back to the niche that realtors should really be pursuing at the moment, I agree with you. They should be searching the need to sell clientele,
Yep.
and those people are, like we said, probates, trust sales, divorces, and deaths. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
those are things that are not going to go away and that are still out there. And there's a good amount of we're doing a lot of resale business, so we know it exists.
Right.
Oh, and I left out investor business too. A lot of cash sales.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that. So definitely reach out to Corey for those leads and
Well,
the programs.
well, I can't. Yeah,
Where they
exactly.
can buy the
So,
leads. Yeah, the programs where they can buy the leads.
yeah, no, I mean, no, there's data. There's data that I can give you guys. There's a next seller algorithm that we run, empty nester algorithms that we run. But there's also really good premium feature lead, like you said, data through PCT Title Toolbox. Of course, I can't give that to you, but I can teach you and train you how to use these programs and how to get the best out of them. To really, the goal is to help you identify your next listing or listings, right? And then, hey, if you guys eat, we eat. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the best to give you guys, the top tier title technology that's available for you guys, but also give you guys some training, some mentoring through this and how to use this stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to add on to that, and the average, even the industry in title has changed a lot, obviously, and in sales has changed a lot. So,
Yeah.
Corey's been in the business. Like I said, I've been in the business almost 40 years. Corey's been in the business over 30, probably.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of experience with that, and it's very valuable experience for you as the agent, as the realtor, or even the escrow officer when you've got a realtor that needs help, to take advantage of that. Take advantage of Corey's expertise, my expertise, and allow us the opportunity to help you, get more business for yourself. Obviously, like Corey said, if you guys do well, we do well,
Mhm.
and take advantage of Corey. He's not the average rep. He doesn't show up and deliver flyers. He
Thank you,
does
honey.
consultations. Well, you do private consultations. He does private consultations. He really is great at training people how to use the tools.
Yeah.
And so definitely reach out for an appointment.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, it's my expertise is the farming part of it.
right.
But I can also bring out somebody you want to learn a little bit more about title, prelims and all that. I talked about bringing Jorge Mesa out. He's a wonderful speaker. And what I like about Jorge is he tells stories, and he just has a really great way of connecting with people. So we can set up a in-person training with Jorge, or with myself only, or we can probably get you out, right, Liz? You come out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime and the other thing is, because we are in the positions that we're in, we're connected with our computers and everything, all the programs. We have access to everything 7 days a week. So it's nice that we can provide that service, on the weekends, which is when most of you realtors and escrow people are working.
Right. Really quick, I just pulled up our website, and I was wondering, I don't know if you can talk a little bit about like on our wage agent resources. There's a couple of uh topics that we have up here as far as like informational uh booklets, and
Yeah,
I'll
you know
refer
what?
people to that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna pull it up real quick on my computer because I can't see it very well on my phone. I'm looking at it on my phone.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. Yeah, I mean, one of the main things that we have, I have it available now.
Yeah,
One of the
there's
main
one
things.
there's a couple of like of graphs, not graphs, but like rate, like city transfer tax.
Well, there's a couple of really important things on here.
I'll let you point them
Just
out.
like you said on a couple of
Yeah.
them. Yeah. So one of the main things that is very useful is under agent resources. When you click on agent resources tab, you're going to have three different categories that are available under that. One of them would be forms and flyers, so documentation, documents like grant deeds, powers of attorney, deeds of trust, that type of thing. Documents that you need to provide to somebody to fill out, sign, and record is one of them. That's a really important one. The other one is educational booklets or flyer centers. So if there's any particular subject matter that you're interested in maybe teaching your agents a little bit more about, you can look in there and search the subject out, and then you might be able to find a flyer that gives you a simple explanation of what that is. So that's also very useful. The next category in bold in the middle there is rates and fees. So this is where you will find our rate calculator, our lender rate calculator, also recording holidays, and then transfer tax info for the different cities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a very important resource that you can, tap into anytime you need it. And then lastly, at the bottom, we've got tools and video training. So
Yep.
again, just like the flyers that were listed in the first section, down here, there is information and video for training, again, any particular subject matter. And if there's ever a subject matter that you need additional information on that you don't find in here, definitely reach out to Corey and you can connect that way.
Yeah.
On Corey's actual website, it looks the same as the company website. On his particular website, there's a button on there that you will find, which is critical to what we've been talking about, and it's on the bottom right-hand corner towards the bottom. You don't see it on the one Corey is showing, but on mine it shows. It's an orange button that says Book Appointment. So you can do that, click on that, put in a date or put in a little message, and then Corey will contact you and set up that one-on-one appointment.
Yep. Thank you for selling me. No, yeah, that's it. I encourage you to jump up on there and just check out the website because there's a lot of good stuff up there, a lot of good educational stuff. Yeah, all the links in that agent resources tab is also all the links for all the portals for the programs and stuff. They're all there. So and then like Liz said, just go ahead and jump on my website, which is www.coreytitlerep.com. Check it out. Book an appointment with me, and we'll get together in person, over the phone. I can do a class. Like I said, I can bring some speakers out. Lastly, before I let you go, we're kind of right about our time. Try to keep the podcast between 30 and 45 minutes, every Monday.
Yeah, it's like 30.
Yeah, we're about 30. Okay, good. But lastly, we have some new members in customer service. Customer service is popping right now. And I know a lot of people call me for things, but you have access to an amazing staff there. And I always encourage clients, agents, brokers, lenders, anyone to call customer service as well. You want to talk about a little bit about our customer service, just to
Yeah, absolutely. So we've made some changes in that department as of late, and a lot of it with obviously the goal is to service everybody better than we had been servicing. Not that we were not, but we've been really busy. Fortunately, we have been very, very busy. Pacific Coast Title has been moving up in the ranks, and we've been really busy. So with that said, we had to hire some bodies and move some bodies. So we've got now a person that is 100% a farm specialist. He works 100% of his day only on farms. So if you ever need a farm that you don't want to go through courier or don't need to go through courier for whatever reason, you can go directly to customer service at email address is farms@pct.com, farms@pct.com. And we've got a person that's, again, 100% dedicated to farming only. We also have two new people, Crystal Zamora and Laura Copeland, also wonderful, wonderful ladies who come with a lot of experience. And because we've got more people now, your requests are being expedited faster than they were. And then we've got Robert, who is a wealth of knowledge. Robert is our lead and has been with the company for several years and has been in title for many, many years. And he's our lead. So we've got that. And then we've got two or three different people that are 100% dedicated to open orders, to the open order process. So once again, all with the hopes of processing everything faster. The faster we get the order open, the faster you get your prelim. And so, yeah, we've got a great department, very, very happy. We've gotten a lot of great feedback with our department. We've got Spanish speakers for those of you that prefer a Spanish speaker. We've got several in the department. And so, yeah, no, like Corey said, they're hopping and they're ready to go.
Yep. Direct line for customer service. What's that? What's the direct line? Do we have it? 818?
I don't even know.
662-6700. That's our office in Glendale. So Liz reporting from the mothership here, PCT, Glendale Title Operations Manager. Thank you. Also, my wife, my honey. So thank you for spending some time with us today and sharing all of that wisdom with all these wonderful agents. And obviously we'll keep getting Liz back on. I think we have Jerry coming on. I think next week, Jerry Hernandez, PCT title marketing director.
Guru.
And actually, he'll probably be coming in studio. And then also filmmaker Manny Jimenez. We had to reschedule him. He's a really busy guy. He'll be coming in the studio too over the coming weeks. Filmmaker, film director. And hey, everybody has to have a place to live. So we're always going to be talking title, real estate, every week, 11 a.m. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all social media outlets, and Apple Podcast, Spotify, everywhere you guys get your podcasts. Liz, thank you for
I failed to mention too that
we have
actually no. I was going to mention something, but I just realized I don't think we're ready to mention it. So never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll have more news in the coming weeks, and we'll get Liz back up on here because you see everything from a much bigger scale, and so it's good to get you up on here. And I tell agents, agents might close a deal a month or every other month or whatever, but we close many deals every day. So we see things on a much grander scale. And so, it's always good. I want to share that with you. I want to share what we're seeing opening, what kind of deals are opening. I can't get into specifics about any specific deal, but to give you an idea, just what we see opening and closing. So you guys know what to target out there, and how you can use some of these amazing title real estate resources here. So stay tuned. Hope you guys have a great week. If you guys need me or Liz, you guys can, call her at the office. You can reach out to me direct. 626-392-7993. Open at Corey Title Rep. You guys have an amazing week. Thank you, Liz. And I'll see you guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. If you guys need me, I'm available 7 days a week and evenings. You guys have a great one.
Have a good
I'm
week,
feeling
everyone.
good now. No one to bring me down. God is blessing on the ground. And I'm standing a little bit taller. And I'm standing a little bit taller now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.